The biggest feature since .NET MAUI shipped has been added for .NET 10, and I bet you didn't even know about it. It has everything to do with XAML. You can use it today, you should use it today, and in this video, I'm going to show you all about it. When we get your feedback on the inner dev loop for .NET MAUI project, it's mainly about two things. The inner dev loop being you're writing your code, you hit that run button, you go into a debug session, you change some things, you test some things, you stop, you change some things more in code, you hit that run button again, kind of like that loop, right? Two things. One, debug builds are very slow. The scroll view is kind of like jittery, especially on your Android emulator. It doesn't all feel very smooth. And then whenever you go to release, it's all great, right? But in release, you cannot debug your app. So we got some improvements to do there. Two, the debug build is not the same as the release build, which is a good thing because in release, we kind of like trim all kinds of code out of your application. The compiler tries to figure out like, hey, which code paths are being used and which ones are not. And then it trims the code that it thinks is not used. But then sometimes, specifically in the XAML area, the compiler will cut off code that is actually used, but only in XAML. And now suddenly code is removed that was being used. Your app crashes in release. You got 1-star reviews, and that's all not great. So time to fix that. And we're going to fix that using XAML Source Generation. You probably already know Source Generation, which is the great new solution that we have since a little while from the Roslyn team, where you can generate source from your library, right? So we already know that from like the MVVM toolkit. It just generates all the MVVM code for you, and you don't have to even look at it. It's all compile time. Nothing has to be figured out. Runtime, super fast, super amazing, super great. What if we apply that concept to XAML? So all your XAML just there, you don't need to do anything with it. You can write it the exact same way that you're used to, but now we're taking all the XAML, we're parsing it, and we're generating actual source from that you can inspect. You can put breakpoints in it, but much more importantly, it is super, super fast. So just to give you a little peek under the hood, there have been a couple of iterations of XAML, right? I'm not even counting the ones by WPF or UWP or, dare I say, Silverlight. Sorry, just the ones from Xamarin Forms and .NET MAUI, right? So the first ones were interpreted at runtime. So you would just write your XAML, and if something would go wrong, you would only find out at runtime. So you really had to test your build, because if there was a path that you didn't see where some invalid XAML was, then your customer would find out that it's not great and your app would blow up. So we quickly implemented XAML compilation, right? XAML C for short, and that already made it so much better. But under the hood, that generates intermediate language code, which is great, but there's only 2 people in the world who understand intermediate language, and I'm not one of them, right? The other one is luckily the person that wrote XAML C, so there's that, and the other person, I don't know. But it was already a big improvement over how XAML was interpreted, because now suddenly we could do stuff compile time, but still there was some stuff going on at runtime, and the compiler would still not see the links between actual code and XAML, and it would still trim out things that it shouldn't trim out. Now with XAML Source Generation, we're taking that a step further. We're not generating intermediate language, you're not delaying the inflation till runtime, we're generating C# code while you're writing your XAML, and you can inspect it, you can read it, it's just C# code. It's not always the nicest to look at because we had to do all kinds of things to make sure it works in all scenarios, but it's there. Allocations much less, inflation times way down, like 100 times down. Okay, I got a table right here which shows you the times for XAML C for runtime, so whenever you inflate in runtime, and XAML Source Generation for inflating the XAML in a styles.xaml document, which is the biggest XAML document in a file new MAUI project with the sample content enabled, right? So this is the time it takes to run initialize component. You've seen that method, or probably you're already blind for it, you don't even see it anymore. But this is the time it takes, and you can see that XAML Source Generation is taking that time down. What that means for you: faster debug builds, no more scrolling jittery things, right? All that stuff. However, note this is the XAML inflation. Your build times may increase a little bit. initial build times. We're working on that. These are the numbers right now. As we speak, I've already, while recording this video, talked to Stefan, our great team member who is taking the lead on this. He is saying like, we're refining this, we're fine-tuning this. It's going to be even better by .NET 10 Service Release 1 and Service Release 2. So before I get into it, I want your feedback. This is a supported feature. This is opt-in. We're like, this is so big. This hits everything. Every XAML in your project is hit by this. That's why I said this is the biggest feature ever, .NET MAUI wise, XAML wise even. Like other projects with XAML do not have this. .NET MAUI, yay! But I want your feedback. This is supported. Right? Whenever something breaks, you will get support. This is opt-in. I'm going to show you in a second how to do that. I want your feedback under this video, under the sample repository that I have in the .NET MAUI repository. Open issues, even if it's just like, this is working great, this is the best thing ever, right? I want to hear from you. If something breaks, then especially I want to hear from you, of course, because we're going to unblock you. We're going to fix that for you, but I want to hear all the feedback that you have. Okay, let's dig into it. Promise me that I get that feedback, okay? Let's get into it and see how you can enable this on your project. Okay, so here we are in Visual Studio 2026. Technically not a requirement for the thing that you're about to see here. Also works on Visual Studio 2022, VS Code, CLI, any other IDE that you might have. Has nothing to do with the editor, okay? So for my demo, which is publicly available, check the link down below in the video description. This is just a file new MAUI project with the sample content, okay? So just to give this project a little bit of body, what I would like to ask you is try this on the actual app that you're developing, right? Maybe you have it in production yet, do it in a safe way, create a branch on Git, try it out, play with it, but you have support for this, right? This is a feature in .NET MAUI 10. Play with it, let us know how it goes. If it works for you, release with it, go with it. You have full support, you have our blessing, and let us know how it goes, good or bad, okay? So I did that, so just to give you like a quick example, file new project, .NET MAUI app, .NET MAUI app 10, and you want to be on .NET 10, right? So that's definitely what you want to do. .NET 10 preview at the time of recording is going to go GA as of next week. But RC2 is out right now. That's what you want to be on for this. And GA is going to be even better. And from there on, it's even going to be better. We're going to refine it. We're going to improve it. And it's going to be amazing, right? The build times that I just mentioned, we're actively working on that to make that better. So it should be good all around. And then I did include sample content, right? So that's the app that you're about to see here. This is the main page, right? So you can see pretty extensive. We've got the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit with the event to command behavior in here, the Syncfusion controls, right? So third-party controls all work, even non-visual ones. Everything is in here. Whenever we run this, let's just run it on Windows. Doesn't matter. This is supported on Windows, Android, iOS, macOS. Doesn't matter, right? This lives on the .NET MAUI layer. Doesn't really matter. And we get this very extensive, fully featured to-do app with all kinds of things in here that you can kind of like do to manage your projects. Has a little bit of sample content, and it will just come up here and you can play with that, right? So that's great. And that's kind of like the cool thing and the sad thing about this feature, I think at the same time. It's so invisible that your app will just work, and that's the most exciting thing ever, right? But it will be faster, it will be better. So if we kind of like stop debugging here, how do we enable this? Go into your CS project. So here on the left, I've named it MauiXaml Source Gen Demo, right? And if you double click that, it will open your CS proj file. Again, make sure to be on .NET 10. Scroll a little bit down. I have the .NET SDK 10 RC2 installed, so MAUI version will default to that. You can take the actual concrete version number from NuGet as well and plug that in here for your .NET MAUI project, for your .NET MAUI version, but you want to be on there, right? So double check that. Then the only thing that you need to do is right here, MauiXamlInflator. Add that, set it to Source Gen. By default, it's set to XAML C for you right now. You probably don't even know it. You should not have to care about it. But to opt into this feature, make sure this says Source Gen. Whenever you do, whenever you save that, it already starts generating stuff in the background. We'll see that in a minute. The other options that I have here in comments is emit compiler generated files. This is needed, but not whenever you're using Visual Studio to get access to the actually generated code. Whenever you're in VS Code, or CLI or whatever, enable this, and you can actually see the XSG files that we'll see in a minute. Visual Studio does that automatically. In fact, whenever you enable this in Visual Studio, you will probably hit the long path issue. I know, it's 2025, it's still here. Go upload the issue. It's out of my control. I cannot help you with that. I want to. So to overcome that, you will want to set the output path for these generated files. Okay. Please just don't run into that. It's not, just focus on this one. Okay. If you just do this one, that's all you need. XAML Inflator. Okay, whenever you do that, you can go here into dependencies, and this is a little bit of a long path, so bear with me. Doesn't matter which target you kind of like choose. Of course, it makes sense to choose the one that you're actively working on, but it should all be the same code. I'm going to choose Windows, analyzers, and then you already see all the Roslyn analyzers and code generators in here. So you can see the community toolkit ones, right? So you can see some other ones that you probably didn't even know that were here to begin with, but they are there. But now we also have Microsoft.maui.controls.sourcegen with a code behind generator, because that's what we're doing. We're generating the code behind of your XAML files. And if you go in here, you can see XAML.sg.cs files and XAML.xsg.cs files. The XSG ones are the ones that are the most interesting to you. Those hold all the code that we actually generate. So the sg.cs ones, I think they're technically already there now too. But you can see like, okay, that's not too bad, right? Auto-generated, so don't go try manually adding it because it will be overridden. That will not work. And then you can see private partial void initialize component. Like I mentioned, you're probably already even blind for the initialized component ones, but they're still there. And this is a partial one because that's how source generation works. You have a partial method, a partial class, and we generate the other partial for you to do the heavy lifting, right? So there's that. And if we then open the app.xaml.xsg, you can see, okay, a little bit more cryptic, but we need to do this to kind of like not have namespace collisions and all that kind of stuff, right? That we're using the right things here. So this is your app CS. You can see the resource dictionaries are getting in here, are getting declared set and create source, do all of that. So the app.xaml is not that interesting, or it's not that complicated. If we go look at that styles one that I mentioned, so resources, styles, app styles, right? This is the let's get the XSG. So this is the colors one. You can see it becomes, more verbose and more interesting, right? Hopefully, if we do our work correctly, you should not have to see this. You should not have to look at this. But nonetheless, it's still very helpful in some cases to debug through it, to be able to inspect it and see what is going on here. You could not do that before. So we got all of that. Here you can see the name is pages, main page. And again, like, this one is simple and the XSG is a little bit more extensive. And the reason it's called like pages.main page, the file name here, is because it takes the namespace, right? Again, to avoid namespace collision. So you can figure out the names right here, but you should be able to figure that out. Don't set breakpoints here in Visual Studio. Whenever you use VS Code, you can set breakpoints directly in that XSG file. It will pick it up. For Visual Studio, it doesn't work. We need to do it another way. We need to go and close these, go to our pages, main page, and then the code behind. And again, we'll see the initialized component right here. You can set a breakpoint, and we can just launch the application, and we can step in here and step through all of the generated code. And you can see, like, this was generated like very fast while I was looking at it, while I was talking about it. So whenever you start writing code, it will do that kind of like asynchronous. Again, definitely use Visual Studio 2026 because it's so much snappier and faster, and it will just do it in line, and you won't even notice it, right? You can just focus on your XAML like you're used to, and we do all the heavy lifting right here in the background. So now my app is deployed. I've talked long enough that the app is coming up. Again, it doesn't matter if it's Windows or Android or whatever. On Android, you should notice, see the difference really notably with like your scroll views and that kind of stuff. But here you can see it hit our breakpoint on initialized component. I can step into it. F11 is the key binding I have. It might be different for you. And I can just start stepping through here. So, okay, super cool. I got all these things. And at some point, we can see the event to command behavior, right? If I not select the one, you can see we have a couple of these. Okay, there's the first one, there's the second one, there is the third one, right? It's a little bit, it is selected, it's not super clear, but they should be on your screen. And if we go to the main page of XAML, we can see, hey, we got 3 of those from a third-party library. Works for that stuff too. no problem at all. So we got that, and you can just start. I don't remember which tab it is, so I'll just click here. We can just start walking through this. I can scroll all the way down, like, oh, this is all the stuff that I don't need. I'll just set a breakpoint here. You can just continue and jump to that point in your code, right? So you can inspect that and look through this. Super, super cool. But you should only care that it's super fast and it all works. XAML Hot Reload, does that still work? Because that's based on XAML. Yes, it absolutely does. So if I leave this open, if I leave this running, we have the XAML Live Preview here in the background. Maybe you didn't know about this one, but you can click on it and it will bring you here to this point in XAML. This is like a good point too. If something happens in your generated code or whatever, it should refer back to where that happens in XAML. So again, you don't have to care about the code that's generated. It will just point you to the right place in the XAML file and you just focus on fixing it there. Okay, so let's see, you can just click on these things, inspect some properties that are going on here, but we can also still change things. So I already see that I have this little artifact here from a previous trial run here, but if I set the background color here to red, then it should update automatically during my runtime here too. And now, of course, during this demo, it doesn't do it because that's how it works whenever you try to live demo something. But trust me, it absolutely does work. Let me just quickly remove it here. So again, this is a little bug that you can see happening right here. If this happens to you, please report it to us because this is exactly the stuff that we're after, that we want to fix to give you the best experience for this, okay? But technically it should just work. Also, whenever you're connected to an iOS device on a Mac build host, it will work for that. However, that will work from .NET 10 GA because we fixed the bug in that scenario, so you should be on .NET 10 GA for that. But for Windows, it should work right now with the RC2 bits. So let me just try that one more time. Let's go over to my Solution Explorer, my main page right here, and let's set the background color to red, and then boom, right? It goes to red. Okay, whew, I'm not lying. See, it goes to red, and I can change it again. I can make it green, and it will update too, just so you can see it's nothing. It actually works. Okay, there was a little bug right there. I'll report that one, but please let us know whenever something like this happens to you and make that happen. So this is XAML Source Generation in a nutshell. Now, how cool is this? I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about this. This is literally the biggest thing. I'm not lying because this hits everything in XAML. And XAML, I would say 98% of the MAUI apps out there are based on XAML. And this has never been done in any XAML-based framework before. .NET MAUI has it first, and we're going to take it, we're going to run with it, we're going to make this the greatest experience for you. So here's my ask to you. Enable this on your production app. It's opt-in, so it's safe, it's super easy to switch back if something is not working. But if this is working, you have our support. This is a feature. This is not going away. We're betting on this. Enable it. If it's an open source project, something goes wrong, please pull us in. We're happy to collaborate. Join the Mauiverse Discord right there. It's super easy to talk to the team, so maybe join there and let us know. If it works great, also, please let us know. Tweet, post, do, read, blog. I don't know what the things are that we do these days, but my handle is everywhere. Tag me so that I can see it. Put it here under the video. We want to hear from you. If it's a closed source project, give us a bin log if you know what that means, or just reach out to me and I'll help you get all the bits that we need from you. But I'm pretty confident that this already is on a solid level that you should be able to just switch this on your development product and it will be good to go. How cool is that? Let me know how it goes for you. I want to see all your XAML love, all your XAML Source Generation love, and maybe check out this video whenever you're done with that and waiting to compile, and I will see you for that one.